Hey everyone, and welcome. So, you're a Java developer, and you're looking at Python. Now, you could go out and buy a book and try to learn it all from scratch, but what if there's a better way? What if you could just translate the language you already know and love? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We are building a translator's guide, mapping your Java brain directly onto Python. So let's fire it up. First things first, you gotta start with hello world. I mean, it's the law. Over on the left, you see the Java code we all know. You got your class, your public static void main, all that ceremony just to print one simple line. And then you look to the right, and yeah, that's it. That's the entire Python program. This one comparison right here tells you almost everything you need to know about the Python philosophy. Let's just get to the point. So this obviously just begs the question, right? Where did all that other code go? And maybe more importantly, why do we actually need it? And that brings us to our very first translation job, saying goodbye to boilerplate. You know what I'm talking about, all that setup, all that required code that Java makes you write before you can even get to the fun part? So here's the deal. For a simple script, Python just doesn't need you to wrap everything in a class. And there's no mandatory main method that acts as the one and only entry point. The Python interpreter just reads your file from the top line to the bottom line and runs the code it finds. The script itself is the entry point. Simple as that. All right, next up. This is probably one of the most famous, or maybe infamous, differences for anyone coming to Python. We need to talk about the new rules of the road. How do you define blocks of code when you can't use your trusty curly braces? Okay, so just look at this. It's the exact same logic, but it's like two different visual languages. In Java, you use those curly braces to shout, hey, everything inside me belongs to this if statement. In Python, you do it a little differently. You end the line with a colon, and then, and this is the crucial part, you just indent the code that belongs inside. That indentation literally replaces the braces. And I have to be super clear here, this is a rule, not a friendly suggestion. We call it significant whitespace. You know, in Java, indentation is for us, for humans. It makes the code easier to read. But in Python, that indentation is for the computer. It's a non-negotiable part of the syntax that tells the interpreter how your program is structured. All right, our next big mental shift. This one can be tough. It means letting go of something that's very near and dear to every Java developer's heart, telling your variables what type they are. It's time to talk about types on the fly. Just look at this side by side. On the left, Java needs us to label everything. This box is an int, this box is a string. But on the right, Python just doesn't care about the labels. You just give your variable a name and assign it a value. Python is smart enough to look at the value itself and say, okay, 10 is an integer, got it. So here's the Java brain tip to make this click. In Java, you're trained to think that the variable itself has a permanent type. But in Python, it's the value that has the type, and the variable is just a name tag pointing at that value. You're not labeling the box, you're just putting something in it, and Python knows what that thing is. Now, this does mean some errors that Java would catch before you run your code might pop up at runtime in Python, but it offers just incredible flexibility. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time talking about what Python removes. Now let's talk about the incredible power it adds. Let's look at something I like to call the one-line power loop. So here's a super standard task in Java, right? We've all written this code 100 times. We have a list of numbers and we want to create a brand new list that has the square of each of those numbers. So you create a new empty list, you loop through the original list, you do the math, and you add the result to the new one. It makes perfect sense. It's totally fine. But what if I told you that you could express that entire idea, creating the new list, looping through the old one, doing the calculation, and adding the results? What if you could do all of that in a single, elegant, readable line of code? And boom! This is it. This is the Pythonic way. It's called a list comprehension. And just look at how it reads, almost like plain English. My squares list is n squared. That double asterisk means to the power of for every n in my numbers list. It's compact, it's expressive, and it is just so powerful. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is all great for little scripts, but what about real, grown-up, object-oriented programming? Well, don't worry. All the core concepts that you live and breathe in Java, they're all here. They're just wearing some new clothes. So this table is your direct translation guide. What you call a method in Java, Python just calls a function, and you define it with the def keyword. Class definitions look almost the same. You're just swapping braces for a colon. Now, the constructor, this is the interesting one. Instead of a method named after the class, Python uses a special method called ___ init. We call these dunder methods for a double underscore.
And see that first parameter, self? Just think of self as Python's version of the this keyword in Java. It's how an object refers back to itself.
So as we start to wrap up here, it's pretty clear that this journey isn't just about learning new syntax. It's really about adopting a whole new coding mindset. The whole Python philosophy really boils down to a few key ideas. First, readability counts a lot. Code is written once, but it's read over and over. That's why indentation is mandatory. It forces clarity. Second, simplicity always wins over complexity. We saw that with the boilerplate. Just find the most direct way to say what you mean. And finally, less code, same power. That's our list comprehension right there, achieving the same result with fewer lines, making your ideas that much clearer. At the end of the day, learning a new programming language is like learning a new way to speak, a new way to communicate. You haven't lost your Java knowledge at all. You've just become bilingual. So the real question is, now that you can translate your thoughts into this new, incredibly expressive language, what amazing new ideas are you going to bring to life?